grudge match for not only the history of the players, but they just don't really get along too well. They're, not too fond of one another.
Right. To say they have beef and think of it like a steak is an understatement. It's a whole cow's worth of beef between these two teams. Before we get into the draft, let them talk about their rivalry. One last thing, the format of HGC so far. Every match, as you've seen, if you've been watching, is a best of 5. This is a round-robin tournament, so everyone will play each other once before the first lance. The top 3 who are able to be in the standings are the ones who will qualify for the very first Western Clash.
Yeah, and so then also we have the losers pick format again. So if you lose the game, you have the opportunity to decide on the next one, do I want to pick the map or do I want to be the one picking first pick? And so far the trend we've seen, at least in North America, is really whoever ends up picking the map is going to be the one that struggles the most.
Yes, and Gale Force Esports, they were one of the ones who were important to have their maps picked. Same with Naventic too. Whatever they had is when they were able to win, except for Naventic's last game and when Gale Force Esports beat B-Step on Sky Temple. But we could talk about this rivalry, or we could let the teams do it for us. Let's hear what they have to say about it.
I can't wait till we play Naventic. That is the match I'm looking forward to. First round, that's what I'm looking forward to, man. B-Kid left us to join them. And I want to prove him wrong, let him know that he made the wrong decision, because we're going to beat him.
I wouldn't say us and GFE have that much of a rivalry. We did swap a couple players, but I think the last time we versed them, the last 3 times, they took 1 game off of us that we threw.
One of the reasons I would say I left Naventic, one of the major reasons, was because I did believe they have a pretty significant weak link on the team. And, even though we have a losing record against them, I've seen time and time again that is the case. And, I feel like that's just going to give us a very big advantage going into the games.
Gale Force Esports seems to be a top contender to be the top. Are you guys going to hear about them, or are you guys...
To be the top... Who said that? Oh, really? Really? I don't see it. If you just outdraft them, don't let them play what they want to run, there's just nothing impressive about that team, in my opinion.
If I'm going to lose, Naventic is the very last team. They're below PBA on who I want to lose to. And the reason for that is just because I want to beat them so bad.
Man, for Gale Force Esports forming for these summer regionals, there's already so much history between these two teams. They have played 6 pro matches against each other during that time, and they have had player swaps, they have had tweets traded and not traded. It's a fun rivalry here in NA.
And for the fact that Mike Udall would be, he'd be willing to say that Naventic is legitimately below PBA on a list of teams. That means a lot. That is where the incident happened. There is so much around that game. It's just a missed void, but we call it the incident. It is a huge moment in their career, though, right? And he's willing to say it's even below that. That is insane. That, oh my goodness. I know that feeling all too well, right? It's not always that competitors really want to win. It's just they really don't want to lose. And to have a team like Naventic to be that core, that full inspiration, I can only imagine the feelings on the side of GFE. And it goes both ways.
We have talked about how important the battlegrounds are for both of these teams. Let's head in and see which battlegrounds were banned and which will be the first battleground of the series.
So there's going to be the Warhead Junction removal, and then Tomb of the Spider Queen. And our first map is going to be Battlefield of Eternity here.
We know who picked that.
Yes, we do. That is going to probably going to be Naventic overall. We talked about this when we saw them already. It's by far one of their better maps. We managed to be able to get to see Gale Force Esports also playing on this map as well. So we have a little bit of history, maybe prioritization of heroes for both teams. So, they got research available.
Let's talk about previous series for both of the teams. Up against Tempo Storm, Naventic, their synergy did not look good the first 2 games, but they started to gain momentum as things went on, taking it to game number 5, but in the end, Tempo Storm won the series overall. Gale Force Esports back and forth with B-Step. Whoever picked the map won the game, but that all changed for the last game on Sky Temple.
And another thing to consider here is that because we know we're going into a best of 5, looking at the history between these teams, you saw Gale Force Esports admitting we do have a losing record against Naventic. Out of the 6 times they played, Naventic has won 4 of them. But when we only isolated to best of 5s, Gale Force Esports has actually managed to win 2 out of the 3 so far. So we'll see if that really is going to be affecting them, as Ragnaros, thankfully, is going to be removed already here by Gale Force Esports.
So,
it's because
Team
Artanis.
Naventic, you're at right. Artanis, is that going to be the ban of choice? I'm going back to the drafts where they played Tempo here, and it was Artanis banned.
They almost banned it on every single map. They removed Artanis. Now that it's going to be his best, I can't imagine they have a backup plan to really be able to deal with that. Their rotation last time was going to be into the Li Ming and the Malfurion, so we'll see if they move that again. It's actually very common. Both them and BSTEF have done that in this position of the draft. But Gale Force, if this Artanis is locked in, has to consider what is their first pick.
Tychus is on the table.
They prioritize Tychus higher than every other team.
Yeah, but they're going to switch it up and get Malfurion. A Malfurion first pick.
Yes, Malfurion going to be the first pick here. Again, Li Ming is what I expect Naventic to move into, but without Malfurion available, they're going to have to be able to compensate with either a different support, concentration onto the warrior, something else here coming out for them.
I wonder if the replacement for Malfurion will be Lieutenant Morales.
It possibly could be. There's going to be ETC.
They wouldn't need to get that early on at all. They can change by getting ETC, their warrior of choice for B-Kid. And Li Ming.
Yeah,
nice call.
I really like the Li Ming. It's one of her better maps, the poke she provides. And also just Naventic really favors the hero in general. Gale Force Esports, on the other hand, they have been all over when it comes to their drafts. The only major outlier is their Tychus value that you brought up earlier. I wouldn't be surprised to see that picked up in this rotation. But to be honest, after the stats you threw out earlier, I don't even know if I want to see the Tychus.
I know, but they were maybe the one. Yeah, I think they were the one team to get the win with him before, so maybe the adjustments, they have it figured out where he should be going in a draft more than everyone else. Volatassadar is another potential one here. Tracer task, they want to play Tracer.
Well, we see another kind of Zul Jin possibly out of these teams. This is a map where he's managed to kind of make his way to the forefront. Tas Vala is the rotation here. Already loving the drafts from both these sides. They seem to be a lot more calculated, in my opinion, than the last series that we were able to see. Very well done.
Naventic, I would expect a warrior ban here, especially given the fact that Gale Force Esports, when you look at it, does not have a set warrior player. So if I were like, okay, this is the first time I'm going up against this team, let's see if we have a place where we can poke at weaknesses. If they have no set warrior, sometimes it's Equinox, sometimes it's Crowan, maybe they just ban out whichever warrior is the scariest. I think Diablo was one time played by Gale Force, so was Muradin. It even could influence who plays the warrior, depending on what they ban here. Well, they want to take out Illidan, concerned with the fact that Tassadar is already on the table for Gale Force.
Yeah, it is a little bit of a threat there. I don't know if I would actually ban it on my own. I don't think it's a terrible one, but I also question, is Tas Vala that terrifying when, Tas Illidan? If you're going to remove the Illidan, do you have to consider the Tracer?
It's kind of respect for Fan.
Yeah,
they played a lot with Fan Illidan, right?
Yeah, they did, and this was a map where they would frequently pull it out. And then Morales is going to be the response there. You postured that as well with the Malfurion already picked up, which is going to leave pretty much Rhaegar is the only appealing support left on this map for Naventic.
That can be one that Kenma in the past has been aggressive with. I would say Rhaegar and Brightwing maybe the most.
Yes.
They could leave support until the end, them being Naventic to flex against whatever it is that Gale Force picks up in their last rotation. Some sort of damage is still needed. Tomster, being the T-God he is, could play Greymane. If they want somebody a little beefier.
I love a rotation. Like, if they were to go a Tyrael Greymane in this rotation, I love that composition already. I think it has a lot of survivability. It's got enough of a front line. I think it'd do a lot. Instead, they're going to go with the Tychus and Thrall. I'm going to hope that's a Sundering. Already, I really want to see that burst into the Task Malfurion. I don't think it will be successful over that long duration sustain DPS. And then the Tychus, we've seen him come out. He hasn't had the most success. I don't think the stats really totally tell the story of Tychus personally. But we'll see what Naventic's going to be able to do with him. What are you thinking for Gale Force?
What warrior would Gale Force want? I almost think it's Muradin over Diablo. But they still absolutely need some damage.
I can tell you that much. I do not want to see...
You want a double warrior?
I either a double warrior or at least making sure they get a warrior. I expect like Fan possibly going into the Alarak is an option.
Yeah, especially on Battlefield of Eternity.
Yeah. But I want both of these to be a melee picks here. I don't want to see the triple backline that we've kind of seen already out of some of the other teams today. I think Muradin Alarak. Muradin Tracer, so going with the Task Tracer. That was the same reason I was saying why ban the Illidan if you're worried about the duo, you know, to deal with that. So are we going to see a variant pick here for Naventic?
I don't know because B-Kid's already playing ETC.
That was a huge mistake there. There's already support. That was my bad. I thought they picked it earlier. I just figured to deal with the Tracer. They move into the variant. We've shown Naventic to be able to do that, but obviously no support is not.
Supports are important.
It turns out that's like the only role that's like an absolute must.
No, ETC can take Prog Rock and heal everybody.
You got it. You're right.
ETC support.
For the support, is it going to be the Brightwing then to be able to stop that, or are they going to move with the Rhaegar? I
think Rhaegar.
I would like the Rhaegar, but there is a lot of Brightwing as the response to Tracer. I do think Rhaegar is the better pick here, though. Karzim doesn't really provide enough either, I don't think, to the race. So there it is. It's going to be the Rhaegar. Love these drafts. I was questioning the Illidan ban on the side of Naventic again because the fear of the Tracer. But this draft, compared to what we have seen in the last series, I think is a lot
more understandable?
Not only understandable, even across the board. I'm really focused on not seeing a Earthquake. I think that's a really important thing in this game. I'm not saying that I don't think that it's not terrible if they move that route. I just genuinely think that having that burst, having that forced initiation is huge on this map.
Dread, I have a treat for you.
Okay.
And for the rest of the viewers at home, we've got a tweet from somebody very special.
Oh, man.
Michael Udall himself. GFE easily beats Naventic next time we play. By the way, he tagged every single member of Naventic here, and I believe that was a retweet of something that Zuna had thrown out, or Kenma, that basically said that GFE gets rid of all their tweets.
Zuna claimed that they did not have the confidence to publicly say they would beat them because they know they're going to lose. Where Mike Udall proceeds to go, well, then I will say I am very confident, and then tag every single member of their roster.
And he was talking about this match right here. So, as we said, it's spicy, it's juicy, however you want to say it, it's dramatic, and it's such a fantastic way to close out opening week. I could not be more pumped to be here.
No, I'm excited for the games. And after watching the draft, I'm really looking forward to this Battlefield of Eternity game. Both these teams had a rough, first set that they were going to be able to play, and then now going up against one another, I'm ready to get into it.
How important is it to each of the teams? Like, is there any team, either team, that you think it's even more important? Obviously, Gale Force Esports already has 1 point, so to have this one would be here, but surely Naventic does not want to lose to Gale Force as bad as Gale Force does not want to lose to Naventic.
Like, for a team morale standpoint, it's probably more devastating if Naventic was to win and then Gale Force was to lose. But when it comes to just overall rankings and necessary, I do think that it's more important for Gale Force to be able to pull out the win here in the long run, to be able to qualify for those clashes. So I think that there's a lot more tension on that team, especially with bringing on the Equinox. There are still some kind of questions of where they're going to be able to fall. I think it not only sends a message to Naventic, and it just sends a message to everybody else.
Well, we are ready for game number 1 between Team Naventic and Gale Force Esports. We're going into Battlefield of Eternity.
All right, so on the blue side here, we are going to have Naventic, where Tomster is going to be on Thrall. Tyke is played by Big Impact. Li Ming is going to be played by Zuna. ETC is going to be B-Kid, and Kenma is going to be on Rhaegar.
And in the red, in a Sweethearts Gale Force Esports, with Michael Udall playing Tassadar, Equinox on Tracer, Akaface playing Malfurion, Fan on Vala, and Crowan playing Muradin.
The battle is going to be real here. Solo laner on the side of Gale Force Esports is not necessarily going to be the most dominant one, so their laning phase is going to struggle a smidge here. Thrall should be able to kind of handle anybody who's going to posture up there, but we do see Naventic go with a 3-2 for now, trying to find Gale Force. Now that the reveal is there, they're going to make that transition down, leave Thrall on his own.
Looks like Tassadar may be the solo laner
have
versus Thrall. Not the greatest of choices, but yeah, who else would you even put in there? Let's talk about keys to the game for Naventic. They want to win this, especially after losing to Tempo Storm. Zuna needs to put on the backpack drive. What the heck does that mean?
He's got to carry. Zuna has got to be able to carry. He's got to be able to get the resets for his team. He needs to make sure that he is putting out the DPS and really kind of enabling them. Naventic looks at their best when Zuna is, you know, getting the kills.
And the follow-ups will be from Big Impact. Biggie, for me, is so quietly an incredible playmaker on this team that there's big personalities on Naventic specifically that Biggie sometimes gets overshadowed, but when you watch his play, he is an incredible player.
I agree, very much so. And the personalities are something that kind of makes people overlook him so frequently, but his play is something that's very difficult to be able to do so. The laning phase is here. It is very standard. Tracer is trying to be as annoying as possible. We do see GFE has made 3 people rotate up here, questioning, is there going to be a brawl? But for now, that is not going to be the case here. So we see 12 seconds before we're going to have our Immortals. The Shrines are going to be up. The rotations are going to be on fire, and we're going to have to look at this Task Tracer because when Naventic ran this against their opponent in their first series, they absolutely dominated.
Naventic has a faster rotation to Belak, the Red Immortal. There's a few members up from Gale Force Esports, but they all want to move in. That root is giant. The stun to boot. Rhaegar gets taken out immediately. Gale Force gets the first blood of the game.
Absolutely huge play coming out there from Akaface. Not even having Aloon's Grace hitting the root directly into the stun there coming out from the Immortal. I mean, in the world of supports, you can't ask for a bigger play than what we saw already coming out of Aka there into this game. Vala now has gone to get the split. We see the standard 1-4 defensive strategy. Another root, and Tychus ends up going.
Akaface is playing out of his mind. He is fairly low on mana, can't innervate himself, but all this time, Vala's been up in the top using Monster Hunter, that bonus damage from Hungering Arrow on the Mercenary and monsters to force the swap of Immortals.
And this is now going to be put into the phase. We see Naventic questioning if they should defend. Tychus is nowhere near. Thrall is not necessarily the best defender either. He does kind of win in the sense that, you know, you can get that poke over time, but since Malfurion has rose to the meta, or to the top of the meta really, it's not nearly as hard to be able to deal with Thrall as it once was. There we see the engagement. Everybody now is looking to be around the blue Immortal. Will anybody make the mistake? We got to keep our eyes on Equinox though, because he's on the Tracer. That is the playmaker.
I think Pulse Bomb's available to Equinox. Looking to jump in. Stormbolt hits Zuna, but a power slide to follow up. Equinox is forced to use Recall. Now he's off to the side. Roots again catching Tomster. These have been perfect. Pulse Bomb goes down. Thrall does too.
This keeps going.
I know.
How do you stop Akaface? This guy is an absolute monster. Kenma ends up going down again. Crowan barely. He's not going to be able to survive that long. A big impact went a bit too far there. He's going down. Equinox got his eyes on Zuna. No mana for him. He's going to be falling. B-Kid, no mana either. And that is a wipe there as Thrall barely survives. Gale Force Esports come out gun blazing. Mike Udall with the beast step. Things are getting serious in here. And Akaface, what a monster with these roots.
I don't know if I've ever considered somebody a Malfurion monster until this moment. What the heck, Akaface? That's a half-shielded Immortal.
I'm just saying, everybody at home, when you're like, well, the supports can't carry. We're looking at the best in North America, and that is not the case.
7 kills to 1, and we're 4 minutes, 15 seconds into the game. Let's see what Gale Force can do with this first Immortal. It's fairly weak, but it did have a good shield, and that enables them to siege for a time.
We do see that Rhaegar has decided to go at level 4 for the Healing Ward to be able to try and heal over those long fights around the Immortals itself. We'll see if they get any value out of it. It's pretty hard, especially into a Tracer, to get value out of it. But then Thrall is soaking in the top lane for Naventic. Nobody for Gale Force. They're going to look for that pick. Equinox trying to get the harass, but when Crowan misses the Stormbolt, it's not going to be too easy to be confirming any kills today for GFE.
Akaface now has Aloon's Grace, so what was scary is now scarier. Level 7 picked up for Gale Force and a level and a half lead because of all of their kills, their sieging potential, and the Immortal from the first phase. Now, teams can back off. They're looking to see if somebody makes a rotation down.
I
Nope.
like it. You know, it's just the blind dwarf toss, see if anybody's there. If so, possible kill. If not, nothing hurt. We do see GFE is making the transition over to their Shaman camp. Again, it's going to be not during the standard timing that we see of the map objective.
Will they hold it?
I don't think so. That's way too risky for me, but they will. No? All right, never mind. Crowan baiting and outsmarting me. But now we do see the pressure towards top here with the Shaman camp. Anytime you capture it that early, you look to siege. Another root, a stun coming out, and the pulse bomb hits. My goodness, this kid is on fire. That's not good, though. He's a tree. Please don't die.
We need you, Akaface. You're continuing to make us happy.
Another root.
B-Kid's in trouble too. Root almost connects. Even so, it's zoned. Made ETC go right. And Equinox is right behind to pick up whatever kills. Gale Force Esports will say, we will happily steal away your bruisers. We already picked up ours. We're going to get yours too. We're going to put pressure on in the bottom lane as well as the top. And this game has escalated so fast.
Yeah, I mean, I'm willing to go as far as to say that I have not seen a North American support impress me as much as Akaface in this game since the first time we got to see June can play.
I thought you were going to say yourself.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Obviously, since the last time I got to be on the field. No, seriously, it is a very good performance here already coming out from Akaface. Now he's got his cleanse available, maybe some more plays, even keeping Crowan alive. Root to be able to deny everything he is doing here is near flawless.
Pulse bomb went down, but he almost dropped, but Tracer
Big
a
orb.
second kill for Naventic, and that's perfect timing because Immortals are available.
That orb was absolutely flawless coming up from Zuna 2, right as it kissed the gate, just in range to be able to confirm the kill onto Tracer there. All right, so we do see the Calamity build instead of a Seeker, though, coming out from Zuna, so not nearly as effective poke as we saw, for instance, out of the B-Step matchup.
Skullcrackers, the pickup at level 7 for Crowan, looking for more stuns, more lockdown on Naventic's side. Naventic want to start pushing over if they can. They found Crowan, but the push actually misses, makes the root miss, and Crowan gets out A-OK. The rest of Gale Force Esports wrapping around now too, grouping back up around their Immortal so they could start to mount a defense, look for a stun, look for someone out of position, and get another kill. Yeah, that was very aggressive rotation coming out from Kemba, and that's a criticism everybody has towards him, right? His positioning at times, moving by himself there. The root wasn't there to land yet, but later in the game, that could be enough to cost it, so he's got to be a bit more patient there while he's in his spirit form. But Equinox eats a lot of harass. 10 is going to be closed in pretty quick here for Gale Force Esports. Pulse Bomb used on the BK, the recall of the Stormbolt, and he is going to go down. 10's picked up. Now Gale Force is in full control of this fight. Zuna has Blink Up coming up in about 3 seconds. Oh, not even. It's already back up. Miscalculated there, but he is trying to retreat. Root not going to land yet. Kenma is trying to pull away too. Will Naventic not go? Oh, Force Wall. Never mind. That's going to be a pick there. And Gale Force Esports, I mean, they're just not letting go. They don't even care about the map objective. They get one kill, and they're just like, we are going to kill you all. By the way, just to make sure that we're continuing this story, is that the whole entire fight started because, once again, Akaface landed a beautiful root on B-Kid that forced out a cleanse, then he powers it away, and the Pulse Bomb came out, and they took him out. Now, by the way, those Pulse Bombs will be doing even more damage to heroes because Quantum Spike was grabbed at level 10. Nothing Naventic can do at this point. They are down. They haven't even hit level 9 yet, let alone heroic abilities. Yeah, and then not having this Immortal threatening down while you don't have level 10 yet. You see them trying to be able to get this soak as best they can. I'm guessing that we're going to just see them soaking down in the bottom lane. Secretly, they think that there's going to be a rotation in that direction, but at least we do see Zuna will be able to soak the experience down there without giving away his position. And, you know, it's a good way to... Never mind, he just backed, so I thought he was going to soak until 10, but he's not. So we'll see if it works out, because I don't think one wave is enough for Naventic to be able to confirm that 10. I think that was a huge risk. Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't stay for at least one more wave and at least confirm it. But either way, we'll see if this pays off for them. Stormbolt already going out, Cleanse too, but Pulse Bomb's going to say goodbye. Big impact. No heroic abilities. This fort was going to go down anyway. That's exactly what I was saying. I thought Zuna was going to soak that lane, and then you back after you manage to pick up the 10, but don't show yourself on the map, so your opponents don't exactly know if it's a full 5 versus 4. But then pulling away here, and Gale Force Esports is just not letting go as they're looking towards this keep front wall. Heroics are close and would make a huge difference for Team Naventic, but at least the shields have been brought down. So Gale Force likely aren't going to get too much more other than the wall here, but Naventic finally have heroic abilities. Mosh Pit is here. It's Earthquake. Odin's gone down. Equinox way in the back line just obliterates Li Ming before they even get a chance to have the 5v5 fight. Kenma goes into Bloodlust, but what will be the goal?
To die, he gets overextended there. He's going to get picked off. Akaface dropped the root, but it was not needed. The keep is sitting here at 15% HP, and Gale Force Esports, 10 minutes and 30 seconds into this game, is going to say thank you and hello to the Catapults. Phenomenal play coming out from them, and it all started with Zuna. Yeah, I mean, even with the pulse bomb being missed there by Equinox onto the Tracer, it didn't matter. He just straight chased it down, gave him the parting gift, and I'm absolutely amazed right now at this performance coming out from Gale Force Esports. Not only are they overly aggressive and just full control of the match, but just, again, Akaface, well, his ability to enable his team set up the plays. It is fun to watch.
And their synergy is impeccable. Their rotations are crisp. They went straight to the mercenary camps and are making the full rotation. They have 2-level lead, 15 kills to 2. This is a great way to start a match versus your rivals. That's all I have to say.
It very much is. And we do see that it was the Earthquake Bloodlust combo once again coming out for Naventic, and terrifying one if you can't deal with it here. But the Twilight Dream might be enough to kind of, negate it. We all got to keep our eyes on Equinox, though. Again, it's one of his known heroes he's known for, and he's kind of just, he's, the perfect follow-up to everything Akaface has been able to make happen so far. 20 seconds, though, till we have our next Immortals, and Naventic is nowhere near that 13 talent here.
Rain of Vengeance can help slow down the combination of Team Naventic 2. In fact, that's what helped bring down Kenma's health bar so fast once Kenma was like, let's go, even without his brother on,
is that what that sounds
on
like?
the door.
Is that the Bloodless audio?
Let's go. No, it's probably more like,
I need, like, every time I press R with Rhaegar in my Hero League, I want to hear that clip.
Want a Gilly voice pack?
Yeah, I want a Gilly voice pack that goes,
I'll try to help you out.
And then we'll get Sonya's Leap going, too.
They have to pick Sonya for me to throw that one out. Dread, you know that.
I'm just saying I need it in my sound pack, that's all.
All right, sounds good. Level 14 to level 11. Gale Force Esports have all the time in the world to do what they want. There are mercenaries in the bottom lane. If once they see someone from Naventic there, maybe they could go. They're happy to get into a fight right now. Crone uses Avatar, jumps out, Earthquake spin, dropped. Michael Udall and Equinox are in the back. They're kind of all separated. Equinox is in trouble and is the first one to get taken out. This Bloodlust Earthquake composition finally working out for Naventic. 2 kills.
Yeah, those 2 kills was absolutely needed, and we saw Tracer kind of go in there, but a lot of the struggles was the fact that Crone had gotten caught out so far. I put him into a position where Malfurion wasn't able to move up, neither was Vala. Neither were really in the fight by the time the Earthquake had hit, and then nobody had the mobility to really work around, because when you're slowed by an insane amount and then your opponents are sped up, you really just feel like you're pretty much stuck wherever the fight actually started there. So Twilight Dream not used, and this is going to be a big momentum swing finally here for Naventic, as they'll pick up 13 talents here and a very healthy Immortal.
Gale Force were waiting in the wings, but took a little bit of time to figure out that the Immortals were in a position where they could just at least take down the health bar enough to limit the shielding of the blue Immortal, and that's leaving it at a very healthy amount of shields, and it'll be pushing in the bottom lane. Kenma had to go top to stop Catapults from starting to put permanent damage on the cores.
All right, so Immortal's going to be pushing in here. It's going to get, for sure, it's going to be able to pick up this front wall. The question is, how much of the fort itself will it be able to remove, if the whole thing or not? Rhaegar has now made its transition. There's going to be the Odin. Bloodlust is up in 5 seconds, 12 seconds before the Earthquake hits. Power Slide does come out. Cleanse is used as well, and that's going to force Equinox to back out. Bloodlust is used, but we do not have Earthquake up. That keep was going down, or excuse me, fort was going down no matter what. So that was a cooldown maybe not needed, as Crone is got a Dwarf Toss out. He'll be fine. But so Bloodlust down. This is a huge moment. Gale Force should force them right now. Honestly, they should move past this Immortal and look to be able to take this fight, because there is no way this is going to be a losing one.
Stormbolt didn't connect. Equinox is trying to jump in too. He's going to start the chase down. If they can keep them from mounting up,
fort.
Maybe the rest could catch up in time with Michael Udall and Akaface mounted up. Both trying to dismount. B-Kid pushing back. Gale Force 2, Fan, and Equinox still trying to come back in. They want this fight badly, but everyone from Naventic looks to get out. I thought maybe when Equinox had to recall and was directly right in the middle of Team Naventic, he would get taken down again, but thankfully had enough blink charges to back behind his gate.
Yeah, and with that, though Naventic did show signs of life in this game, it is still very much Gale Force Esports control. They still have a fort up onto top. The keep for Naventic has been destroyed in the top lane as well, and 16 is quickly closing in here. So, I mean, Gale Force Esports, they don't have necessarily the best sieging composition, but I'd like to see them try and pressure with their 16 talents here, and that's going to be on the bottom lane. There are 2 catapults built on top that Zuna and Kenma are trying to rid of, and they have the pressure down below. Now this Shaman camp is going to move into the core. Take out a keep front wall onto bottom, something, you know. Don't stand around with your 16. That is something that we see a little bit too much here, and I'd like to see GFE, you know, be the ones just never letting go of this game, much like they did for the first 12 levels.
Beacon has been very patient with his mosh pits too. I'm not seeing too much of those yet, even once we have seen the Bloodlust, the Earthquake combinations too. Then there are a lot of places to make that work, but for now, Team Naventic just have to wait until they can get 16-2. They do not want to fight without it. We saw them just sitting back behind the gate, not even allowing any chance for somebody to get picked off. They know that a keep has already been brought down. If Gale Force Esports start to get longer respawn timers from Team Naventic, it'll be the end of the game, and Naventic will throw away whatever amount they've come back into this game.
In Gale Force, the decision-making to take a double Shaman and then top Khazar camp is a beautiful one, purely because Naventic's pressure onto their base is so heavy right now that they are eventually probably going to have to force some kind of response, and when that happens, expect Tracer to be the aggressor. But look at this raw poke just happening as we see Equinox and Crow impatiently waiting, hoping somebody makes that mistake, as the camp is now moving towards the core.
Equinox was seen there too. Naventic, Biggie threw out a grenade just to confirm that members were still there. Somebody's going to go back probably to deal with top.
It is early enough that it shouldn't do that
Too
much
much?
pressure. If there was a double or triple catapult, it would be something to worry about, but I think they have a moment, at least more than they normally would. If this was later in the game, though, they would instantly have to back.
This is 16 though, the time is now. The swap is about to be phased.
Yeah, and Equinox and Zuna getting a bit of a skirmish. It seems like Equinox is putting heavy pressure onto Zuna, trying to figure out what he can do. And because Zuna did not move into the diamond skin at 16, it's really, you know, not something
That's the cue.
that can get the, yeah, that is the cue. We see Zuna has backed up, so
That
we'll
was
see what
good.
Gale Force does.
It was good just for them to go. They know that this is going to get phased eventually, right? So as long as Zuna can go back and clear it, then
yeah.
This is the point. With 16, Naventic can start the fight, have all the heroics, get a 5-on-5, hopefully blow up everybody from Gale Force Esports, and then win the phase after.
Yeah, ideally, Gale Force wanted to phase and then force that back and then be able to start directly after, but it just wasn't within their choice with the defense of Naventic here. There are a couple catapults collecting on the top. It should be 3 by the time to core, but I don't know if it's going to matter quite yet. It's just you always got to keep that pressure. When it keeps taken out that early, you always need to be considering that if you're Naventic, because I mean, the map is just a time bomb for you at this point.
You're not opting for Firefly, so he has those faster magic missiles, can make sure that they all connect. Entangling Roots, not almost catching Zuna, but not quite. And anything could break this fight wide open. Kenma jumps in pretty deep to Crowan, but doesn't turn around with the Storm Bolt.
Naventic's the one who has to make the choice here, not Gale Force. They aren't the ones with catapults creeping into the core, so Naventic is just being a little bit impatient, even losing a bit when it comes to the poke. We'll see if they're able to get any harass totally onto the core over time, but Equinox going in, good dodge over the power slide there, and another route onto the Tyke is going to split. Crowan decides he's going to be able to move in here as the fight's breaking out. There's going to be the bloodlust.
Equinox has been separated away from the team. All of Naventic turning around onto Crowan, but Twilight Dream hits so many of the members. B-Kid dives back into the fight. Force Wall separates him away from Naventic, at least for now. The route to catch him! Parting Gift is a kill on ETC.
And that is going to give Equinox more dashes to pursue his opponents. Let's see if he gets another. That is going to be Kenma going in, trying to get onto Crowan. He ends up falling. That's 2 more dashes. Zuna now on the retreat. Pretty only has enough for 1 teleport. But I don't know if he's going to be able to make it out here. I don't think Crowan can kill him because he's got enough regen. He's got 1 blink. Force Wall, blink. There it is. No, dodge. Nope, he's dead.
Stormbolt, slam. Thank you, Zuna. And Gale Force Esports don't even need to finish out the Immortal phase. The long respawn timers are just enough. The keep's already been down. The lane has been pushed. Gale Force Esports, patient. Patience was key. Takes out Team Naventic on one of Naventic's better battlegrounds and starts off this series with a 1-0 the best of 5.
Absolutely. Just really great play coming out from both sides. Very clean on the side of Gale Force. Again, huge shout out to Akaface in that series. The roots that he was able to throw out is the reason his team was able to pick up, that keep at 10 minutes and a half into the game. He had great healing throughout, even at the very end there. Minus that one team fight where he wasn't able to get into a position to be able to help with the Twilight Dream, which really isn't totally his fault in that scenario. He just almost played perfectly.
Yeah, it seems so thought out. They started out with aggression, and then as Naventic started to come back into the game a little bit, they were just patient and waited for the mistakes to come out from Naventic. So being able to play these two different styles almost in one game is beautiful.
They look like they leveled up. They really do, even from their first series. I'm very impressed with this version of Gale Force that we've seen, and I hope it goes through for the rest of the series.
Guys, we're going to